I can't hear. I can't hear you. So
Can you hear me now?
okay, now I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, and I can hear you a lot of it. Okay.
I'm gonna do my best to try to.
You got some feedback on your end. Do you have a phone on? Do you have a phone on or something?
I have. Well, nothing's playing. Nothing's on. Um, Now it's on. Okay, but nothing's on. No. It's a feedback from outside.
Okay, let's try it now. Is it all done? Ladies, is that clear? You all tell us in the comments. Is it clear? Can you hear both of us now? Can you hear me? Can you hear Ali? And is there any feedback? I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. We're in there. So tonight I'm just gonna ask you guys to be patient because Ali is in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm in Malaysia. And it doesn't happen very often, but from time to time we have a little techno glitch. And y'all know if things go technically crazy, I'm no help. All I know how to do is turn it off and turn it back on. But Ali and I wanted to share we have a shared experience. She and I both applied for the Thailand DTV, the destination visa. That's their new digital nomad visa that allows you 5 years of access to the country of Thailand. Wonderful, beautiful Thailand. And we had two very different experiences as we applied for the DTV. She applied in Vietnam, I applied in Malaysia, two totally different outcomes. And I'm not going to even hold y'all. Ali was approved. And so she's going to share with you some of the things that she did to ensure that if you are interested in this kind of visa for Thailand, that you will know some of the do's. I am here to tell you some of the don'ts because my I applied and I was not approved. And I need to total transparency. We'll get into it later. But without further ado, Ali, do you mind introducing yourself and telling the ladies where they can find you?
Hey, you guys. Thanks, Sandra, for joining me once again on this platform. Even with all of our technical difficulties. First, I want to say I don't know if anybody who follows me is on here because we aren't connected to my YouTube. So I have to apologize to all my people because we're not on my page and I can't figure out how to get us there. I may have to repeat this, but like Sandra said, I'm out here traveling. Been out here for about 5 years, and decided to go ahead and try to secure my future a little bit and have some stability, which is why I applied for, went ahead and decided to apply for the DTV. And there's so many options and things like that, but I felt like the 5 year DTV was the best one for me. Um, but as we're chatting and sharing things, you guys can also find me on my YouTube at Where's Ali, same as my title, WHERESALI, and that's my YouTube channel. And then on Instagram under where to next underscore Ali.
All right. And I'll put all of Ali's contact information down in the description box. So if it's some of it's down there now, but I'll go back and update that. And so let me just roll through and see who's here. Hey, Elle, I see you. I think Elle was the first one in. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Venus. I saw Venus and I have been communicating back and forth. I knew she was going to be here. Hey, Rita. Hey, Forever Learning. That's my sister who is currently in Chiang Mai right now, living her best life. Hey, Michelle. It's so good to see y'all because y'all know I've been away. Hey, Serenity. And then, of course, none of this happens without Mary Love, honey. Let's just be clear. Marilyn called me. She was like, "Girl, the time all screwed up." It is what it is. Y'all know what this is. This is a conversation with girlfriends. Come on in. Sometimes, when you go to your girlfriend's house, the house be clean. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes she got cocktails. Sometimes she don't. So it is what it is. But we are here in good spirits and in fellowship, seriously, to share this information so that if you are considering the DTV, that you can avoid some of the mistakes. And I'll tell you exactly what I did. Hey, Greta. Hey, Winsome. And hey, living my dream. That's my old trading buddy. Lord, Lord, Lord. I need to get back to it. So first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to turn it over to Ali. Ali, do you want to fill the folks in and let them know exactly what the DTV, the Thailand DTV is? You want to give them some background? And while you do that, I'm going to share the official website where you can go if you're interested in applying for the DTV. Ali, can you give us some background, what it is, who it's for, blah, 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 blah.
So the DTV, it's a 5-year visa, and ultimately, I was gonna say ultimately what it is, but let me preface it this way, so that there is not this universal thought around visas in general. So 193, 195 countries, every single one has a different visa process. And most countries have more than one visa option. Same goes for Thailand. And so what you pick and what you decide on is going to be based on what your lifestyle is and what it is that you need. So the DTV stands for Digital Nomad Visa, basically. I don't know what the T is for. I can't remember, but it's the Nomad Visa. It's for people who are working outside of Thailand, but you get income, so you're not working in hospitality, or you're not a teacher at a school or something like that. So the DTV basically says you can't work in Thailand, but you can work. You can have a steady income coming in. It just has to be something outside of Thailand, right? But it'll say on your DTV approval, it's not permissible to work. So you have to understand kind of the lingo. And what it does is it gives you a 5-year access in and out of the country, multiple entry times, without this, every other year we go from 60 days to 30-day visa on entry for U.S. passport holders, and then you can get an extension. You don't have to do those types of things. There are other requirements that you have to do, but what it does is it allows you access into the country for 5 years for 180 days, not 6 months, 180 days per stay. And there's ways to manage that 180 days similar to what you do if you pop in and out. But the benefit of the 5-year, the DTV, is giving you access for a longer period of time, and allowing you to either have some sort of pension or something that gives you income that allows you to stay in the country, because you do have to show where your income status is. So it is a 5-year multi-entry visa for Thailand.
I like that. It's multi-entry. After the 180 days, you simply leave and then you come back and you get another 180 days. But thank you for pointing that out, Ali, because we would just simply say, oh, that's 6 months. But no, it is 180 days. And the last thing you want to do is overstay your visa or not operate within the confines of the rules. You always want to be compliant. We're a guest in another country, and they are far more gracious than some countries that shall remain unnamed. They are far more gracious. But we still want to be operating, within the parameters. And so it is 180 days. You have to exit the country, and then you come back and you get another 180 days. So in essence, you get 360 days total in a year's time. So that is, and you can do that for up to 5 years. One of the financial requirements is that you have to have what equates to roughly $15,000 in a US bank account, whether it's in savings or you have it like mine was in investments, and they took that. That was no problem. I didn't have any problem with the financial part, the qualifying part. We'll get to the part that tripped me up. But yeah, so you have to have that, and you want to be able to submit those documents. All of this is done online. At least all of mine was done online. And so I had to submit documentation from my bank, which was a simple download, with each page showed the balance for the last 6 months. And I think I might have submitted documentation for the last year. I wanted to make sure that that was not going to be a concern. And so you do have to have that, but that's a far lower number than some of the other countries that you have to prove financial solvency for. And so if you can show that you've got, and Ali, I think it's 500,000 baht. Was it 500,000 baht?
Yeah, which is the equivalent to it. It fluctuates, so it depends on what our exchange rate is. But it's in that $15,000, $16,000 range.
So if you've
right
got
now.
16,000, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Go show $16,000 worth, whether it's in assets. Like for me, I just submitted my brokerage account that showed that money had been there and how long it had been there. You could have it in a savings account, you could have it in a checking account, but you do have to prove that you can take care of yourself in case something go wrong. And then there are different categories that you can apply for. And this is where it gets interesting, because I applied under the medical kind of provision, and Ali applied under, I think they call it soft power.
Yes.
Can you talk about it?
Yep. So let me say a couple of things, kind of to backtrack, and maybe we'll get to this later too around the duration. But there's options outside of leaving the country. Like, you technically don't ever have to leave the 5 years. That's like the other bonus to it. But there's things that you have to do in order to stay past that 180 days and just let it keep rolling and rolling. But you can literally do it inside the country. It is easier, in my opinion, to just get up and leave and not have to deal with the paperwork. So I just wanted to say that, just in case someone's like, but what if I don't want to go somewhere? What if I don't want to leave? You actually don't have to, but there are processes that you have to go through in order to stay, so that when you do hit that airport, they have a big billboard. Let me just tell you, they got a big billboard that tells you what your fines are when you are trying to leave Thailand. They stop you at the gate. They want their money. Or there's, whatever other penalties, but they have like a long list of what the daily charge is and all of that kind of stuff. But, once you leave, you leave. And if you can't pay it, I don't know if they let you leave, but, we figure all that stuff out. So anyway, I did the soft power, as Sandra mentioned. There's the medical, the soft power, and then the digital nomad. Like, so if you have a set kind of income that you can show every month, those are like some of the main options for DTV. So with soft power, there's classes that you could take. So people, apparently, I haven't done this, but I've seen people that sign up for cooking classes. Now, of course, it's not just like you go to a one-day cooking class and all of a sudden you got a 5-year DTV. Let's be transparent, because I would have done that if that was the case. I would have learned how to make some wontons, a mushu, or whatever it is. But, without doing what I did. But I ended up going with a Muay Thai school. And the reason I chose that, it took me a minute, because I was like, am I committed? And I was like, I'm on this plight to lose weight and get back into shape. And I was like, ain't no better way than Muay Thai. And let me tell y'all, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm scared, because they like hour and a half training sessions, and I don't know if I'm gonna make the first 30, but I'm in there like swimwear. So anyway, I chose the Muay Thai option. And one of the neat things about Thailand is, as Sandra was mentioning, you can apply in any city, right? So you can, or not apply, you could be living in any city, and that gives you different options for what's available. And so since I was in Bangkok, I started kind of searching around to see which Muay Thai schools are accredited. And so that's not the term that they use here, but that's ultimately what you want. You want a school that is identified and acknowledged by the Thai embassy. That school that's acknowledged by the Thai embassy, or whether it's a cooking school, if they're still doing the student visas, because I just met someone yesterday here in Vietnam that got an extended student visa, not through DTV, but 1-year visa. And then, even the medical and stuff like that, like they look for accredited companies, businesses that they have a relationship with. And I think that kind of makes it a little bit easier to, go through the process and have some success. And so I ended up finding a school in Bangkok. I went online and looked at the DTV pages on Facebook, and they listed a couple schools. There were 3 schools, and I went on each. And what's nice about them is as they are kind of expanding and getting a little bit more familiar with this process, because let me let you y'all, this just rolled out last year. So Thailand is still fluid with this process and like how it really works, right? And so there are people who are just coming up on their first 180 days and things like that. And so with that, some of the schools that have had success, they now, when you go on their website, you can click on, an pre-approval access, like you buying a house, right? You got this pre-approval access, and you can go in and put your information in, and they ask you the pertinent questions that are going to be required, like, do you have the money in the account? Because if you don't have the money in the account, like you say you got like 2,500, you ain't got the full 15, there's really nothing they can do. But there's agents that can do some stuff for you. Just be mindful, they are cracking down on some of these. Because I know there are people who say, well, I didn't have the money, and they fronted the money. There are some agencies that have been doing the fronting of the money for you, but you pay.
And we're not pushing that. We do not condone that. Right. We are not saying do that. Y'all know me. Time out. I do not. Get your money. You shouldn't even be leaving home. If all you got is $2,500 in the bank, no. Don't you stay home,
because it's gonna come back to bite you later on. But people literally, those are some of the things, and so this is kind of like having the appropriate people tell you the process. Because I was told that to use certain agencies that will front the money. I was like, well, I have the money. That's not the problem. And so, but this is a way that some of these organizations are making money, so don't be it's like a scam. Don't be a victim to the scam.
Please.
So yeah, I used the Muay Thai, and I ended up going with I picked 3 schools. One has like women only classes, but they only have 1 gym. I looked at one in Chiang Mai, but I knew I was not going to necessarily stay and live in Chiang Mai. So I kind of decided not to do that one. And then I picked the one in Bangkok because they have, I believe, 12 different locations in Bangkok that you can actually attend any of those locations. So I ended up going with the Muay Thai option, and I used that particular school who has accreditation standing to assist with filling out the application.
Yeah, we definitely want to do the ones that are above board. I've heard of those too. I wouldn't do it. You never want to be that far away from home and have somebody pull your paperwork and be like, oh no, that's not what you want. And so this is just me personally. If you don't have that money in the bank where it can sit, and I'm not talking about you living off of it, where it just sits, then this might not be the one for you, or I just don't think anybody should be traveling without a nice little safety cushion anyway, because anything can happen out here. And so we want you to get out. We want you to be informed. We want you to be safe. We want you to do it, above board. And I see a question. Greta said, if you have opened a Thai bank account with a DTV, I heard Bangkok Bank was closing accounts. I'm just going to tell you what I saw in the research. The DTV, which is Destination Thailand Visa. That's what the DTV stands for. It's still technically classified as a tourist visa. You are not a permanent resident there. You are, that is still it's just a long-term tourist visa. And yes, some people have run into trouble opening up bank accounts because some banks will see it and they view it as a tourist visa. However, there is one bank that I recently saw online. You know, I'm in all the forums. And one of the forums, I'll tell you, I don't know, are you familiar with this TTB Bank? TTB Bank, you all can Google that. That's the only bank that I have heard of. Let's see. Yep. TTB, SCB. But for the most part, it's going to be difficult with your DTV. You are not a permanent resident. This is not like the golden visa. No, this is a long-term tourist visa, more or less. And so opening up a bank account could prove difficult, but that is something I would probably use an agent for if I was trying to open up a bank account, you know. But just trying to get there and somebody tells you, well, I'll front the money for you. I don't know about that one, y'all. I would be careful with those kinds of companies. And yes, Greta, you're absolutely right that DTV is technically classified as a tourist visa. And so some banks may not be willing to do it. You know, it's always going to be somebody who's willing to do it. And another thing I think that Ali brought up was that this program is less than a year old. I want to say it might be coming up just on 1 year. And so if you know anything about Thailand, I promise you, I was there for 1.5 years. When I tell you, you can go to the immigration office one day and come back 6 weeks later or 6 months later, and the rules are totally different. Things change very quickly. And so my advice to anybody who's interested in this, I would definitely say go for it. I think it's easier to qualify for this one than many of the other categories in terms of the financial requirements. I think this is an easier one. I think the process is easier. But you want to follow the rules. You want to do it the right way and the legal way. And that's enough about that. I saw another question. Oh, Nichelle says that she plans to get it and that she's going to go the route for cooking. There was a cooking class. Oh, that's not the comment I wanted to show. But she had the comment that you had to sign up for a 6-month cooking class. Yes, Ali alluded to that as well. You cannot just go, because I took a cooking class. I could have been like, well, they taught me how to make pad thai and spring rolls. Let me in. That's not it. They really are interested. It's almost like a cultural traveler. Are you there to learn the language? Are you there to immerse yourself and learn the cuisine? Are you there to learn the art of Muay Thai? So even the medical part, and I'll get into why and how I applied and why I think, well, 2 things happened to my application. Ali was approved. I was denied. I applied under the medical because you all know I had dental work done there. Well, part of the reason why, let me just go on and come clean. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna make it long. No, people asked me 2 questions after I submitted my application. I was like, shoot, I ain't got time for this. I was like, they started asking me to submit additional documentation. The first question they asked me, I submitted all the paperwork, financial, no problem. I submitted my dental treatment plan, which wasn't a lot because I'd already had most of the work done. But I was, I'm gonna use this. And so they sent me back a reply via email that said, can't you have this? Is that the only place you can have this done? Girl, I folded like a deck of cards. I was like, I'm not about to start, this whole email chain back and forth, because what I would have had to do from that point is get back in touch with my dentist in Thailand. I applied in Malaysia, and I would have had to ask them to give me some more supporting documentation as to why that was the only place I could have it done. I just don't think my dentist was going to say, well, this is the only place she could have that done, because what I was having done could have, in essence, been done right here in Malaysia. And so when I say denied, I don't know how much denied I was as much as I gave up on the application. And I'm going to tell you, select the way that you have the strongest case for. So if you're going to work with somebody, like Ali worked with a firm that this is what they do, and they have processed many applications and gotten people approved, go with the strongest chance, because this is your money. I lost $300. It didn't feel like, it didn't even feel like, I didn't feel like fighting over no $300. I was like, oh, well. And I kept putting it off because one day I would say, okay, I'm going to call the dentist and see if they'll give me this documentation. And then the next day I was like in the middle of shopping for this apartment. I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to do this back and forth. And so you have 14 days, at least here in Malaysia. Once I submitted the application and paid, they tell you you have 14 days to resolve this once they send you the email. And that 14 days came and went. And I never submitted another piece of paper. And then I checked on it a couple months later and they were like, girl, we closed that application out. Are you kidding me? And so I would say this, if you're going to do it and you're really serious about it, clear the space for getting all of your documents together. Don't kind of half-ass it like I did. I don't know. So that would be my advice to anybody. Get all your paperwork together ahead of time. Select a clear path. Like Ali said, she had that kind of question, am I going to be committed to this Muay Thai? You want to do something. You want to pick something that you're really going to follow through. If you're going to do cooking classes, are you really willing to commit for 6 months to a cooking class? Are you really willing to do Thai language? And I'm going to tell you, I took Thai language too. I think I see a pattern forming here. I did Thai language for 6 weeks. I was like, oh yeah, that's not going to be the route for me. Because the Thai language is very difficult. It is not easy. It's a tonal language. They don't use letters like we use letters. Spanish was easy to learn. The letters are the same. Even, to be honest with you, Malay might be a little easy because at least I know the letters. In Thai, is no letters. It's squiggly signs and symbols. And then all these 5 tones, high, low, medium. I was like, ma'am, that's not going to be the route either. So check out all the different ways that you can do it. And I think you mentioned this one too. Ali said that if you have a business, I probably would have had a better chance going that route. I have an LLC established. The business has been up for a while. I can prove the income from that business. I probably would have been better off, but that was more paperwork. And I was like, oh no, I'm not about to gather all that paperwork. I'll just submit this dental plan and that will be. So I want you to think long and hard about the route that you're going to take, because whichever one you decide, you're going to have to provide the proper documentation, and then you're going to have to follow through. And that's where I fell down. I had no follow through, y'all. No follow through at all. So Ali, do you want to share with them? You selected Muay Thai. What was your next step from there? Who did you work with? Do you mind sharing some more of that background so folks can know what's out there?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so I will say the process was actually pretty seamless, and I feel like it was like that because I picked a good school. And that's the thing. So piggybacking and chiming in off of Sandra saying, know what you want to do. Unless you got like all your stuff like ducks in a row, the thing is just you don't know that you have ducks in a row until you apply, because you don't know what they're going to ask you. And like some of the things that Sandra mentioned, when you said you used a broker account, they tell you now that you can't use one. So I'm not sure when you applied, but just in a few months there, because I'm like, oh, well, if it needs to just be sitting in an account that they recognize. So I'm going to tell you guys this too. They recognize U.S. banks. So if you have a Chase bank account, like he literally told me I moved money from one account. I have a black-owned bank, one United Bank, y'all. If y'all don't use it, they a black-owned bank in the U.S. So I had shipped things there, and he saw my Chase account, and he was like, oh, let's use the Chase account. I was like, what you know about Chase? You know what I'm saying? But because they have so much, the relationships and, bringing people on using DTV. They tell you in kind of their description how many successful approvals they've had. And I looked at that as well. They go through the process and tell you if you're pre-approved, as I mentioned, and for me, I just looked for the one that felt like, I wouldn't be just blowing my money, because all of them are going to charge you 6 to 9 months for Muay Thai classes. Well, if I know I'm not going to be in Chiang Mai, why would I pay it? Right? If I know that I don't want to have to catch a bus and a train all the way to this gym that's out in the wilderness with no AC, I might not want to do that. So I picked the gym that is more conducive. Like, I literally, where I stay most of the time in Bangkok, I can walk to one of the gyms. Like, it's literally right around the corner. I do all my house sits. I have 2 house sits this week. The gym is like 5 minutes away. And so I picked something that is going to give me the most positive, the highest percentage of success. And so I ended up, I'll tell you, so Sandra mentioned the cost. The visa itself is only $340. Then when you do that comparison across the board, even Vietnam, for 5 years, that Thai visa is cheaper than coming in and out of Vietnam every 4 months. Because you pay it, the cheapest one is 25, but if you want to equal it and do multi-entry, you're talking about $200 a year to come in and out of Vietnam for 5 years. Multiply that out, right? So that's the visa itself, but to take the classes is an additional fee. And so the process was fairly easy once I should say fairly easy. The steps I took once I kind of went through my checklist, checks and balances of what makes sense for me, is then I visited the school. I said, hey, can I come to the school? I wanted to go to the school that I'd be attending, but the person who does all the work, because he said, the other schools, they probably aren't going to know about this. There is a particular guy, it's Mr. Nook. I'm going to tell y'all his name right now. It's Mr. Nook. And he's at one of the locations in Bangkok, very easy to get to, right off the BTS line, which is their SkyTrain. Really easy to get to, and you walk in and he's got his desk and office and everything, and we literally walk through, and he speaks really good English. He doesn't understand like everything. Like, sometimes you have to show him certain things, but I said, for all the things that you need, this is what I have. Will this work? Will this work? Will this work? Those types of things. And then what they also offered as kind of this, like a safeguard thing, is not only paying for the service to get your Thai classes, which I could tell y'all like why this was really good, and there's nothing, no other program that is this cost and this beneficial. But they also offer for 4,000 baht more, which is not $4,000, 4,000 baht is a little over $100, for them to submit and do all your application work for you. And at first I wasn't going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to dish out another another $100. Or, well, I didn't look at it as 100. I looked at it as 4,000 baht, because we speak in terms of the currency of where we live, right? So when I was like, 4,000, that's another chunk. And then I looked at the fact that, well, they're used to this, they know everything. Why not, just do it? When I did the exchange rate, so I was like $114. I said, I got $114. To do this. And so let me mention this. Let me mention this, because Sandra, one of the things that we were talking about, that 14 days kills, because if it would be an open-ended application where you had time to go back and do what you wanted, I would suggest that you either use the school I went. You don't even have to apply for Thai visa. They have an option where they help you if you're just doing like a DTV of any kind. They help you with your paperwork for 4,000 baht. Or you go on Thai Embassy. I don't know, Sandra, if you've already put the link in there, but the Thai Embassy site, they have something called Siam Legal, which is SIAM Legal. It's their legal team. They charge $99 to submit your help you with all of your paperwork. So like if Sandra said, Ali, I just did this 10 days ago, I still got 4 more days, I would have said, go to the site and have somebody look over your paperwork and help you finish your application so that you can send it in, because they charge you $99 to walk through everything and get it going. So if you don't want to do a program, if you decide to go and do it again using your business, I would suggest doing it that way. And Mr. Nook, they do it whether you have Muay Thai or not, because they know the system. They literally fill out the application for you. They type in everything. I just was like, at the end, can I see what you typed? Because that kind of stuff I'm going to tell you guys, you know how like we talk about people like, let's say MC Hammer, right? And you're like, how is it that you don't know your business? How do you not know what you have in the bank? How do you not know what you're signing? When you do things and you just arbitrarily sign things and you don't read it, those things can get you in trouble later. And so I had to tell the guy over and over, I need to see the documents before we hit submit. You know, I want to see what you wrote in the cover letter. I want to see what I'm signing for the 21. They send 21-page document from the Muay Thai school as part of your application. Like, that's how detailed it is. So I wanted to see all of that, everything that had my name associated with it. I wanted to see it before it was submitted, because once they're done, they're not necessarily obligated in 2 years to come back and say, oh, you said that, you know, something arbitrary. So just keep that in mind, you guys, when you're filling some of the stuff out, and or you're getting assistance from agents or, you know, some of these different programs that are assisting with these applications.
But Ali, I'm all for $99 help. I'm all for help and assistance. I just don't want, I think you have to be your own advocate. You have to take agency. And if something sounds too good to be true or something sounds scammy, walk away. There are just too many agencies out there that are operating above board that will do it the right way. And so I think that is great advice. Although if I had it to do again, I think I wouldn't go the dental route, because they were really actually asking, is this something unique to this place? Is this a long-term dental plan? Are you just coming back to finish up the dental work? You know, and so I get it. I get why there were questions. I would probably, I think now in hindsight, it would have been better to just use the business, just use From Lack to Legacy, the LLC, and submit all that paperwork and pay somebody $99 to check over the paperwork before I hit submit. That sounds like a plan to me. There was a question, Venus says, is the DTV easier to get than a retirement visa? And I'm gonna say, I think easier is, you know, it just depends on what you think is easy. I think it's easier because you can apply for it outside of the country. All the paperwork is done. You could pay $99 to get some support. You're in and out. You know, I just think it's cleaner. Maybe I should say, I don't know if it's easier. It feels cleaner to me than the retirement visa, and the financial requirement is less. If you're talking about that retirement visa, and somebody can correct me, but the last time I checked, I think it's 500,000 baht for the DTV, but it's 800,000 baht for the retirement, which roughly works out to about 23,000. And I think some people were opting for that DTV because it was a lower amount of money that you had to have in the bank as well. Ali, what are your thoughts?
So yeah, because I was going to go the retirement visa route. I ended up talking to someone who used an agency. So these are some of the differences. So the retirement visa is not a visa. It's a tourist visa extension. So it's basically like an O extension to your exemption coming into the country, basically. So basically you get your 2 to 3 months when you first enter, plus 1 year. So that's why people say it's 15 months. But you have to do this every year. So you have to reapply every single year. You have to show, you know, if you're on pension or Social Security or something like that, that's usually pretty easy unless they change the stakes. This is the other caveat. It's 800,000, or you can show that you have certain amount of income coming in every month. But I also
understand that's a combination option. They call that the combination option, where if you have at least 400,000 in the bank and you can prove that you have 40,000 baht a month in income, which seriously though, you all, these numbers sound like a lot because they're in bot, but that works out to about less than $1,200 a month. So again, if you've got Social Security even, or a pension, and I think that's why Thailand is such an attractive choice. Because now I think I can't even tell you what the numbers are from Mexico, what you have to have in monthly income and what you have to prove financial solvency. But Thailand, it's a fraction of the cost. And so I think that's why we wanted to bring this information to you. And of course, you're going to do your own due diligence. But the option that Ali was alluding to is called like the combination, where you have maybe less money in the bank, but you can prove that you have a certain amount of income coming in each month. And just like Ali said, it can change. It can change, but you want to stay abreast. Ali?
Yeah. So the retirement visa might be easier if you've got a pension. And so for me, I'm retirement age. So retirement age in Thailand is 50. In most countries outside of the US, you'll find that it's 50. Ecuador is 50. There's other countries that I know that retirement age is like 50, 55, something like that. So it's not that 67 year. So I'm right in the middle. I don't have the pension, and I haven't hit retirement. So for me to apply for the retirement visa, I'm applying strictly based on my age. Then I have to show I have steady income, a certain amount every month, right? And I could use a business and show that there's a certain income coming in every month. But I looked at that. The reason I didn't go for it is because I have to do that every time my extension is coming up for renewal. And there's specific rules about the retirement visa. Like, you're required to stay in the country for a certain amount of time. At least that's how it was like a year ago. I had a friend who applied for it, got it, and then left and came to Vietnam and didn't know they null and voided their retirement visa because they left too soon. And they had to basically do it all over again and pay the money all over again. And at this point, there's a lot of those agencies that are charging upwards of $2,000 to help you with your visa. To me, that's ridiculous for 15 months, and then I have to go back into immigration every, year and re-present my paperwork again. I'm sure there's a lesser fee, but I don't know what that is. And so in terms of easy, I collectively say, well, what is easy? To actually, obtain? Is it just to get the visa so you can stay? But what are the requirements? Keep in mind, you guys, all of these long-term visas have 90-day reporting, and most of them have a requirement.
I think Ali froze.
Can you see it? Can you see
it
you
now? Froze just a second.
Okay. So keep that in mind when you're looking at those. Read that fine print, and that the Thai embassy site, I feel like, does a good job with bullet pointing what those requirements are. And if you have questions that seem legal, there's a chat box on that page. You can type in questions and they answer you like real time. If you have a question, hey, what's the requirement? Once I get this visa, what do I need to do? Because the last thing you want to do is feel you're scot-free. Like, I have a DTV now, but I have to do 90-day reporting, or I leave the country and come back in. So it kind of is defeating to have it, because I'm still talking about leaving the country. But leaving the country, y'all could be getting on the bus to Malaysia, literally.
And that's another selling point. Come on, because when you're in Thailand, and if you don't know this, airfare on regional carriers is so inexpensive. When I don't want you all to feel like we're trying to push Thailand off, but I am telling you, it is such a viable option, because you are smack dab in. You have Vietnam for a neighbor. You can get a one-way ticket to Vietnam for less than $79. You can go to Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore. I went to all of those countries, Japan, South Korea. I went to all of those stationed while I was in Thailand. And the airfare is so reasonably priced that it really isn't an imposition. I was happy to leave. I was like, oh wait, it's my time. It's time for me to go explore another neighboring country. And so it didn't feel like an imposition. I didn't feel like it was inconvenient because after 90 days of chilling, I was ready to go see something new. So don't let that turn you off the thought of the 90-day reporting or the option of, having to leave the country. It is so easy. And I'm telling you, I booked some of my flights like 2 or 3 days in advance. It wasn't like I was booking a month in advance. I have never, ever, I think the most expensive ticket I ever paid for was when I went to the Philippines, which was a little further. And when I went to Japan, maybe. But for the most part, you can get to Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia, and certainly Laos for under $100. If you book those tickets in advance, you can get there for under $100. A round trip ticket, certainly under $200. So it kind of, I didn't see that as a problem. It was like a perk. I was like, oh yeah, this is time for my next little getaway.
Yeah, add Indonesia, add India if you're feeling
Bali?
froggy. It was like $100 for me to fly from India, and I did it the day before my flight because I was like, I just got to go. It's time for me to go. And I was like, where can I go? I was coming back to Vietnam, my intent, and I flew into Bangkok so I could fill out my visa and wait for the visa in Vietnam. And I stayed in Bangkok because I found the area that really like ignited my spirit in Bangkok, which I thought never could happen because I was not Bangkok. Me and Bangkok wasn't like that. And now I'm in love with Bangkok because I've now experienced something outside of kind of where we all go in the beginning that just wasn't for me. When I think of long term, it's just I had enough of it, and now I love the access of Bangkok, of living in Bangkok, outside of like the touristy kind of area and all of that. And so I ended up staying, and then that was like for 2 months in December, January timeframe, and then I just I came back, and so now it's apropos to go ahead and file for something long term. So there's a little bit of security if I want to sit down.
Yeah, you team Bangkok. I'm team Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is like my sweet spot. I don't care. I never feel anxious like when it's time to move around because I know all I need is $200. I'm gonna roll over here to Chiang Mai. I'm gonna get this little $49 flight. I'm gonna stay where I normally stay with my friend B. And where is it? What's the name of the place? Because I love B. She takes very good care of us. It's the DoubleTree Residence. Girl, take me $6. I get a $6 taxi from the airport. Are you kidding me? I don't even play around anymore. Hop in. I'm over there with B. I can hang out there for as long as I like. It's reasonably priced. You can hang out there for, I think if you come on just a strictly tourist visa, is it now 60 days minimum or is it 30 days, Ali?
It's still 60, but y'all keep in mind they are tinkering with changing that back down to 30. With an extension, you'll only get 60 days and have to leave. And I understand that they are really starting to ask a lot of questions at immigration. The guy I was talking to last night, I was just walking down the street, and he was talking about how an immigration officer was like, why do you keep coming back? Why are you here? And different things. But he was on a student visa, and they were like, can't you take lessons somewhere else? I mean, this was, this one particular woman apparently never had any other issues. So, and I just say those types of things to kind of share that everyone has immigration policies and immigration fluidity. And so just when you're set and you are legit, most times you don't worry. It's only typically if you're kind of under the radar, you trying to bounce back in and out. Any country would say something to you if you're kind of on a tourist visa and every other month and you leave for a day and you try to come back. They know that you're living in a place. They're going to suggest that you get some sort of long-term visa. And so this DTV is basically assisting me with not having, I don't want to run into those types of issues. And I'm gonna have an update for you guys because I fly back into Thailand today. And so today will be the first time I use my DTV. I'm going to use it on my phone. Don't have to print it out from what I understand. So I'm going to use my DTV. I filled out my TDAC entry requirement form that you have to fill out now. They're like the health screening. So I filled that out and I included my DTV visa number on there. So
you're gonna have to do it short. We want to see the footage. We want to see you coming through. But you have to be careful with your camera when you're actually coming through. But we want to know all the details. We want to see and show the ladies.
I will definitely share you guys what my experience is because I've been hearing different things and all I have to say is anywhere we go, we don't know 100%. You're not 100% guaranteed anything. And I could have a DTV and they could turn me away, right? I mean, they could do whatever they want. But there's a lot more certainty in the comfort of not having any issues when you have your paperwork together. And when you're, they offer these longer term visas that allow, those of us who don't have $1 million property, we're not part of a large corporation or something to have access to their country and come in and as Sandra mentioned, invest in the culture. That's what these soft power visas are. It's investing in their culture. You're saying you want to learn something, which then puts money into their communities and things like that. And so I think we're doing things on the up and up. You have a lot less stress.
We want to be good global citizens. We are not bringing any of the colonizer energy with us. We want to be good global citizens. I tell you, I loved every moment that I was there. But Ali, you are absolutely right. They're cracking down. Nobody ever asked me anything. But I was doing a lot of traveling. I wasn't border hopping like that, like gone for a day and coming back. I would be gone for a month or two because it was really so easy to see everything. And so in essence, the way I did it is basically my bags were there. My apartment was so inexpensive. I was paying $325 a month. Y'all know that. And so I would be there for a month and I would be gone for 2 months. Are you kidding me? I would be out exploring the world, but it was so convenient. I don't even know that you could store your things for less than $300 a month. And so that was how I did it. Okay, Ali probably knows somewhere that you can store your stuff for less. There's a place in Chiang Mai too, and I need to plug my sis. Oh gosh. And wouldn't you know her name is Ali, Landon Ali. Can I say her whole name? But she has a whole business in Chiang Mai. She's a sister. If you're ever there and you need to store your things, check her out. If you join Black in Chiang Mai or Brothers and Sisters of Chiang Mai, you'll be able to link with Ali, and she has a storage business. And so, but for me, it was easy kind of home base, but I was out. I was gone most of the time. Somebody has a question that says, so what is the process of obtaining residency? That's a whole nother ball game, honey. That's a whole nother, it's steps to that. Like they say, there's levels to this. There are levels to that. And you must hold, and I'm reading this from the site, you guys, so that I'm trying to give you the most accurate information. It says that you must hold a non-immigrant visa for at least 3 consecutive years if you want to become a resident. Now, and that's different from becoming a citizen. It's very hard to become a citizen where you are like a Thai citizen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's another thing. So we're moving from visas to residency, and then ultimately if you become a citizen, then that's a whole different ball game. But if you wanted to become a resident, you could there are a couple types of non-immigrant visas you could have. There's a B, which is a work visa. There's a non-immigrant O, which is the retirement visa, and then the non-immigrant ED, which is the education visa. And you'd have to apply from within Thailand. And there's some financial requirements. And for me, they're significantly higher. They do have a way that you could do an investment, and you would have to invest at least 3 to 10 million in government bonds, a Thai company, or buy property. And I've known people to buy property. You can find them all on the internet too, as a way to apply and qualify for residency through purchasing property. Many countries will do that if you purchase property. If you're working there professionally, now you can't just go there and get a job because they don't want you taking jobs from Thai people. But if you are in a tech field, a highly specialized field and nobody in Thailand can do that work and you're the only one and your company brings you over to work, that's another way. You must have earned at least 80,000 baht a month and paid personal income tax for several years. So residency is going to require a little bit more. I'm telling you, that's why the DTV is so attractive. I'm not going to say it's easier. I just feel like it's cleaner. It's a cleaner way to execute and be there for 5 years. Now, if you intend to be there longer, you can always marry somebody. You can always marry you a Thai man if you want to. I mean, love is love if that's the thing. And then expert academic, you must have a rare or high demand skill. We talked about that. And then there's a whole slew of documents that you have to have if you want to become a resident. Police clearance. What do they call that thing? I had to have one done when I went to Spain. Apostille. You have to get an apostille. That's where you get your background check. I had to have an FBI background check, and all of this stuff has to be notarized by the government of your country. You have to have a medical certificate, proof of income, taxes, all of this stuff. And then the cost of the application as of the last printing was 7,600 baht. It's non-refundable. If approved, 191,400 Thai baht. Trust me, y'all, it's going to be expensive. It's nothing like the requirements. So if you're interested in that, and I don't want to misquote, use that site. I think Marilyn put the site in the chat and I showed you the site. It will tell you everything that you have to do to become a resident. And then, of course, if you want to become a citizen, it says it's rare but possible after 5 to 10 years of permanent residency. You have to be fluent in Thai and you have to renounce your prior citizenship. I don't know what that means. I'm not trying to be a citizen. I'm just not. I'm a citizen of the world. I'm a world citizen. And somebody said in the comment, I think it was Michelle said, Sandra, maybe you should reapply. Y'all, I have since changed. My plans have changed. I think I've done enough of Southeast Asia. I'm heading back west, I think. And the truth is, too, and I know this is nobody asked, but now that I have come to Malaysia, I'm in love with Kuala Lumpur. Y'all know how I am. I fall in love with a country. I was in love with Thailand last year. I'm in love with Malaysia this year. And so now it just suits me, I think, a little better. Every time I move, I hone it in a little bit more. And every time, because I thought I loved Mexico till I went to Thailand. And then I thought I loved Thailand until I moved to Malaysia. I was like, oh, shoot. But every time I find myself being very discerning about what I want and what I don't want. And that's another benefit of travel. You will very clearly, like Ali has found her happy space, but it's some trial and error, but you get to explore these beautiful places on your own terms. You get to learn another culture, be exposed to languages and food. I have nothing bad to say about the journey at all. So can you obtain residency? Yes, there's some really specific requirements. And for me, I think it's a bit more detailed than it is to apply for your DTV. The DTV for me is like a clean, it's a quick and dirty. Hey, get somebody to help you. Find what you're willing to do, whether you're willing to take a cooking class, whether you're willing to do Muay Thai, are you willing to take, are you willing to have some long-term care done there? If that's agreeable to you, get somebody to help you, girl, in and out. Another question. It says, Chase Bank is funny. They have closed U.S. expat personal and business accounts with no explanation. Hopefully that has changed. Well, I'm going to just tell you this. I don't bank with the big ones anymore. I use my brokerage account. They have banking accounts. I do still have one U.S. bank. But yeah, I don't like the way they do business. And so, I'm moving money around. I'll just say that. Ali, but do you want to talk anything about the bank account and what you use to qualify? Because I did not use a bank. I used a brokerage account and I didn't have any problem. Nobody asked me anything. They just wanted to see how much money, how long that money had been sitting. Nobody said anything. And I will say this too. I applied in another country. I think it all depends on who you get too.
Yep. And that is specifically why I came to Hanoi, because the agency I use,
I asked them specifically where to go. Now, this is what they also do. They just assume everybody simply wants to leave, get it done, and come back. I was good with staying away a month because Vietnam is cheaper than Thailand. And my house sit don't start till this week. And so to be gone for a month was fantastic. I spent it in Vietnam and go back. But different agencies have different relationships with different embassies. And it wasn't even to be in Vietnam. It was specifically Hanoi. And so I don't think we really talked about this, where you're sitting. So when you apply, you tell them where your address is. Like, they want to know where you're staying. That address triggers the embassy that your online application is going to go through. So I'm in Vietnam, and I'm applying on the Thai embassy site, but they go through the Hanoi embassy to route it to the Thai embassy. And so it's kind of important to ask, where's the best? So that's why when people say, where did you go? Because at one point in time, Cambodia was allowing walk-in, and you could get your DTV like instantly and get a piece of paper. And then within a week, Cambodia stopped doing walk-ins, and you had to apply online. And so you have to have all your documentation online. Laos still does in person, because my agent, he was like, well, if you want, you can go to Laos, and then you could go into the immigration office, and speak to someone. I said, how? Will I have an interpreter? So you can ask all those questions. And I wanted it the least resistance. I wanted to be in a space where I felt like I had the support of the team that I was paying to support me all the way through the process. I could have done it on my own if I wanted to, but to me, it's easier to find out what is your allegiance, who's your relationship with. It's just like anything that we know this, like how relationships work and who's tied to who. Whoever you're going through, if you're using agency or if you're going through a school or something like that, ask them specifically, which is the best city for me to go to apply for my visa. So I want you guys to just understand that while you're applying on the Thai embassy site, it is routing through the embassy of the country that you're sitting in. If you're in the US, you probably even have better luck, because they associate it with United. So they're just like, oh, okay, we know you're good. So you really have to pay attention. All that stuff is linked. A lot of times we think there's no interconnection. All of these places are linked. And he basically, because I was like, well, I'd rather go to a different country. I want to check out a few things here and there. And I mentioned Cambodia, and he was like, well, it's going to take longer in Cambodia. And I have seen people talk about it has taken them 3 to 4 weeks. Now, I had the time, but I knew I needed to be back this week. So I also wanted to make sure that the requirements were met, because I couldn't even apply until a certain time based on when my financial statements were available. And they want legitimate financial statements, not a screenshot and things like that. And so, there's a lot more, to the process than what we were able to share in this short amount of time. But just kind of understanding how things are connected, and that there's bits and pieces that are important to getting the successful approval that you seek. So.
And Ali, you nailed it. They will tell you this. First of all, don't you love the internet? I love the internet. I love ChatGPT, and put me in a good forum. Put me in a good Facebook group, because they will tell you. I didn't research it till afterward. Malaysia is one of the hardest places to get approved. Vietnam is one of the easiest. I could have just went to Vietnam, and then you said it, Laos, there's still some flexibility with whether or not you have to do it online. So you want to know those things before you apply. You want to give yourself the best possible chance to be approved. So you don't want to apply in Malaysia for dental, on some dental papers. You might as well just burn that $300. So yeah, give yourself the best possible chance, by selecting the right category or the right parameters, paying for the additional support, legitimate support, and then applying in a place that is known for getting approvals, and they have an easier process. Somebody said, but if you get a retirement visa, can you still have an online job or YouTube? See, I don't think you can work I don't know. I am no expert on the retirement visa, but I think it's just that you can't work. You can't have additional income. Do not quote me on this one because I didn't apply for the retirement visa. Is there someone in the chat who either has the retirement visa? I know there was somebody in the chat. She may be gone now. I don't think that you can work outside with that retirement visa.
Yeah, you're not supposed to work on the retirement visa at all. But if you have, so it depends on what you use to show them your steady income that's coming in. So if you've got like residual income, you've got a house that brings in money, or you've got like passive income that comes in from, whatever type of business, and you get your quarterly dues, from having ETFs or something like that, and you get this normal amount that comes in every month. You can show those types of things. Most people who everybody that I know that has applied for retirement visa actually has retirement funds every month. I have not met a person that has applied for a retirement visa that would be in my position, where I would actually have to show income. Like I would have to actually show an income source that is funneling money, and I don't know how they would present that, So that's my 2 cents, because I didn't apply for it. I chose, what we gonna say, I'm gonna go and choose under the easier route.
It just feels cleaner to me. My friend did apply for the retirement visa, and my sister that's in Chiang Mai, she is doubly blessed because I never saw anybody assimilate to a place so quickly. She was able to get in, but of course she used an agent, a legitimate agent, and they were able to handle so many of those details for her. It was really seamless. So I'm not saying who to use, but I would certainly say do some research, find a reputable person. They can make that process so much easier. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Marilyn says, Sandra, let's see the cardigan you have on. Okay. So for the sisters in the Exodus Summit community, perhaps you all have seen, we got to give a hand for the cardigan. Perhaps y'all have seen this little ditty. This is
that's cute.
It's the girl. Look, she been all over the world. I don't know. I may be the 6th or 7th person. So this is y'all remember the book, the Traveling Pants? What was it? Something about the traveling.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, something like that. Something.
This is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Kimono. When Katrina was here, you all know Katrina from Exodus Summit. She was here in Malaysia, and she has now since moved on to another part of Southeast Asia. She so graciously passed the kimono on to me. I do believe that the kimono was purchased in Morocco. And so each time, I can't tell you how many countries it's been to, but it has traveled all throughout Southeast Asia. And I want to say I may be the 5th, 6th, 7th person. I think Rashida had it at one time. I know. How cool is that? And so when I get ready to leave, I'll have to gift it to another travel sister. And then we'll just see how far this kimono can get. So yes, this is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Kimono. You've probably seen it on 15 other sisters. And yes, we all take very good care of her. I'm thinking about getting her Instagram page so we can track her travels.
Right.
I got a lot to do, but that's on my list. Marilyn, thank you for asking. Yep, but if you've seen it before, that's where you saw it from. One of the other ladies, probably. I'm just kind of scrolling through here to see if there were any questions that we did not get to. I'm looking. If you have a question, put 3 Qs in front of it. Here's one. Did we get to this one? Ali, did you get your hair done over there?
I don't know where over there. You mean Vietnam or Thailand? I did my own hair. My hair is locked. I locked it in 2022. And then I bought some extra hair because I wanted color and curls because my hair don't curl at the end no more. So I added like an inch of color to the ends of my hair.
So you did your own, but Ali, have you ever had it done while you were there?
No, I've never. What do you mean? Like had it braided?
Anything. Anybody done anything to your hair while you're there? I don't let anybody touch my hair. I go home for that. I go home once a year, get my ends clipped, get a good deep conditioner, and let her do that whole thing where she's like, girl, your hair. I already know. But when I'm here, I don't fool with it. I have my own hair routine. So is that pretty much you? Because I'm natural in spite of the
Yeah,
white
I'm.
lady.
My hair is locked. My this is locked. It's just pulled up. But I did this myself. Now I will tell you, when I was in South Africa, I did teach someone how to retie, and she helped me retie my hair. And then when I was in Tanzania, I used to get my hair protective style, and I went to a salon every time I got it done because they braid hair really good. But other than that, yeah, I do it myself.
Yeah,
myself.
Me too. I think that for me, Ali, that's like been a part of this journey. When you don't have those things like the conveniences in the US, you learn to do those things yourself. I have learned to become one with my hair. I will tell y'all, there was a whole time in my life, I am not even lying. I'm not even ashamed. I didn't do anything to my hair. I didn't even touch it. I had that shortcut. I would go every Saturday, sit in the salon for 4 or 5 hours, pay somebody $200 or whatever she asked for, because I was virtually a hostage, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what she put in my hair. I didn't know anything. And so when I came out of that and went natural, it was like a whole nother level of getting to know myself. I was like, oh my God, now I'm responsible for this. And so, but it is a journey. It has been a wonderful journey, and it can be challenging trying to find what you need abroad, but you will find it. I have found everything. I have found Shea Moisture products. I'm not kidding. I have found castor oil. The only thing I haven't found is a reliable source of shea butter. I have a shea butter source, girl, but when I tell you she charging like armed robbery prices, but I pay it. And then when I go home, I re-up once a year on those things that I know I won't be able to get. But you can certainly find a way to work around that. Ali, I know you were over there doing your own.
Yeah, I used to do hair way back in the day. I am self-proclaimed hair person. I used to for probably 35 years. So I've always all my protective styles and all my videos and pictures and all that stuff. I've always done my own hair.
Well, you got a sister-in-law consultant in the chat saying, baby, you're doing great. You're doing fine. It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but let me tell you something. So them I need some anyway. I know how to fudge the front and and right here when you pull it up, the part in the middle, like that go maybe a couple months.
Dr. Maya nailed it. Listen, I have people bringing me things too. I'm waiting on a sister right now. She's in Hong Kong, but I had her bring me some conditioner and some shea butter. So yeah, you get your little hair care mule. When my kids come to visit in December, they already know the drill. So you find a way to get around those things. Is that a
shipping shipping stuff is
it's unreliable. I mean, you're gonna pay all the levies and all that. No, I don't ship anything. Will I order something maybe from Lazada? Is it Lazada or I forgot the other one, Shopee, maybe. But other than that, it's purely, and that's another reason why I really do love Kuala Lumpur, y'all. You can get black hair care products here, honey. All day. You can get black makeup here, baby, because they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and shades. I have no problem walking right into the MAC store, so Sephora, wherever it is, and getting what I need. And so because trust me, you're not gonna find it in Thailand. I'm sorry, I don't care where you go. You can shop high and low. I know if they don't have my color foundation, I was like, wait a minute, I'm too dark for the Thai people. I couldn't find I found something close. It was I had to finesse it, but yeah, it's going to be a little harder. So Malaysia is certainly much more diverse in terms of ethnicities, what you're going to see in terms of shading, style, everything. hair texture, and so they cater to that. Somebody said, so Sandra, is that a relaxer or a blowout? Y'all know doggone well this is my white lady ponytail I shake out from time to time. And I slap on the white lady bang. when I'm trying to hide, this is all smoke and mirrors. Y'all know what YouTube
No,
is.
Can we call that the Megan Good ponytail?
You can call her anything you like, girl. But she is up here. She hiding gray. She is hiding all this gray that's coming in. So you just slap on a bang, baby. You make it work. We are making it work out here on the road. We are making it work. I didn't have time to do anything this week, so that's what that is. Nope, I don't do any chemicals in my hair. I don't do, nothing. All natural products. Let me see if there's anything else in here.
I love it.
Shipping is way too expensive. Yes, it is. And then Michelle says, I took a class 25 years ago on sister locks to become a loctician. Oh, cool.
Wow.
All right.
Dang, well, it's been around that long? Sister locks been around that long?
See? I don't know, but it looks gorgeous, Ali. It looks gorgeous. Your hair always does. Not to mention your skin, girl. You be having the glow. That travel glow is real. That travel glow up is real.
You know what? One of the things I will say before we part is one of the things I do love about Asia is their skincare. And the first time I came and stayed in Vietnam, I didn't realize it until I left that I totally destroyed my skin by not putting things on my skin. And like, this sun is something else. It is something else. And you
do not forego the sunscreen. You do not forego the sunscreen. You do not forego the moisturizers. I know.
Listen, it was like, and I'm still in the repair. Like, I was looking in the mirror. I was like, okay, it's coming back. It's coming back. I mean, the damage to my skin. And then I went through menopause. Y'all, we're going to be doing Chandra, can we tell them we're doing a whole series on menopause? We're going to be doing some series.
Ladies, y'all might as well buckle up because this is good information. Do not get me wrong, but I promise you, when it gets technical like this, I'm always cautious because I don't want to put out any misinformation. And I think Ali and I both are very careful about what we say because we know the nature of visas and immigration. That stuff can change. We could tell you all something today, and I swear to you, next week it will be different. And you'll be looking at us like, well, you said, girl.
Disclaimer.
That is today. This is what, and that's why when you're asking questions, I'm literally going to the site because it can change just that quickly to at least try to give you the most accurate information possible. Ali, is there anything before we transition into because I do want to give the ladies a preview of what is coming up because I'm really excited about that. This was great, Ali. Thank you. You know I wanted to do this. But girl, I'm really excited about the talk. We're going to be talking about perimenopause and menopause and how do you manage that on the road, baby? Because if you think you're going through at home with your support system, can you imagine the mayhem of moving around and having to be in charge of all of the logistics, and then your body is betraying you? Oh, honey, it's a whole new level of madness. But Ali, before we do that, because I do want to kind of preview a little bit more, is there anything about the visa process or anything else that you want? Because I know you have a product. You have a little aid for the ladies. Do you want to talk about anything else?
Yeah, so like we aforementioned, there's so much to this. It's so much more in detail that we're not really sharing here, and a lot of things are related, very specific to your situation and things like that. I am going to kind of roll out. It's like a 1-2 guide of what to look for, some of the things that we covered here, and then kind of branching out how things are a little bit different. So I definitely want to share a little bit more of that. And then the follow-up to my re-entry into Thailand today, using my DTV on my phone, going through immigration with the new TDAC and all of those kinds of things, and provide just as much insight for you guys so that you're just prepared before you come. So I'll be sharing some more of that, more detail. And again, my process, I'm grateful to be approved, y'all. And I don't know if we said this, I got approved in 3 days, like literally from the point that I paid, which is when they say your application is actually submitted at 10 p.m. at night. So technically on the 11th, 12th, Thursday, Friday, Monday at 4:22 p.m. I had my approval notice in Hanoi. So kind of talking about some of that and the process and different things like that. So if there's different questions that you guys have, you guys can always reach out to me. Again, my YouTube is listed on there as well. And then I can share with you guys if you're looking for any type of one-on-ones and stuff like that, just related to some of the things that I've experienced specifically. Please feel free to reach out, because there is so much more to what we share. And as Sonia mentioned, we are not the professional embassy immigration people. This is specifically our experience, and what I went through, the process that I went through is so much more detailed than what you see in the chat groups. Like, when they say, oh, you do this, and you're like, there's a gap missing. Something is missing. There's, well, how do I get from point A to point B? There's so much. Yeah. And there's so much in there that you need to be aware of, because all of the way that we're applying is slightly different. So I just kind of want to state that, because sometimes we get to a point where we hit a roadblock and we're like, I don't see this information anywhere. I don't see what I'm supposed to do next. And so I think that's where we can assist. Even though Sonia didn't finish her process, I don't think she was denied. She just
I was impressed. No. It wasn't denied. You gotta have a little clickbait in there. I wasn't denied. I didn't finish. I threw my hands up. Those people they zigged when they should have zagged. I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I ain't even that crazy about it. I'm moving, as a matter of fact. And I thought it would just be a good thing to have. Because it's so reasonably priced. If I could have done it on my own for the $300, that would have been such a score. But I wasn't really in the mind frame to put in the kind of energy and stick to it and follow up and do all of that stuff. And I'll say this too. Don't do it when you're doing something else. If you be clear-minded, have some time and some space to dedicate to getting that thing done. If you can multitask like that, great. Child, menopause is real. I can't multitask the way I used to multitask. And so I'm telling you, they asked me 3 good questions and I was like, never mind. Never mind. You keep that 350. I just wasn't there. And so don't do that. Mine is a cautionary tale. Do not do it the way I did it. Do all the best practices that Ali laid out. Pick what is going to be best for you, what you're willing to commit to. Secure some help. Make sure that you're applying from the place that's going to give you the best chance to get approved. And don't give up and stick to it. Don't do like I did. Don't apply on a whim and then throw your hands up the first time some resistance shows up. That was basically what I did. So don't be a quitter. But you all be on the lookout. And I know that there's some sisters in the chat that have, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Ali. I want to take this down. That are interested in this conversation that we're going to be starting about perimenopause and menopause. So if you are interested in that, please reach out to me. If you're interested in being on a panel with us, if you are interested in lending your voice and your experience to this, particularly if you're traveling, but not exclusively, because trust me, there's some commonalities no matter where you are on the globe. Night sweats. I know you can identify that foggy brain. Oh my goodness, the weight gain and what it takes to lose the weight after, perimenopause and menopause. And so we want to create a safe space where we can come seriously and kind of know and lean on each other. What's working for you, sis? Because I'm telling y'all right now, chocolate sends me into a whole hot tizzy. So I don't do chocolate. I don't do sweets. I had to finally give it up. I don't do sweets. I do natural fruits now. And I will say a sister took off about 20 pounds. Oh, we have another video coming up that's pretty kind of related. A group of us did our comprehensive health screenings while we were here. And we're coming up on our 3-month follow up. And so we're going to do a live stream following 4 women who came to Kuala Lumpur, had their health screening done, what that information that they got, how they implemented or how that impacted some lifestyle changes, because it definitely sent me into some very serious lifestyle changes. And there are 4 women who have agreed to share their stories of the outcome of the exam, what life changes they have made, and the progress that they've made in the 3 to 4 months that have passed since then. So we've got some stuff on tap for y'all. We're talking about all of us, the whole woman, all our parts. And so if you want to lend your voice to any of those conversations, just reach out to either me or Ali, and we will be more than happy to include you on those panels. Ali, any closing words, girl?
That's, best of luck. Get out here in the world, travel, and use these visas like this that let you truly explore a place a little bit longer and really get your feet down in the trenches to see if you actually want to stay in a place. That's to me one of the best values for something like the DTV. It allows you to really see if it's a place that you want to be. So my closing words is travel, reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for some support because we support each other, whether it's every day. We literally provide information, share. It could be the smallest thing, and it's gets you over a hurdle. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask somebody.
Yeah. We are here. It really is a sister circle. Ali, thank you. It's easy. Even though we were off to such a rocky start, Ali, I have to say this publicly. Ali is such a rock. She was so calm. We were literally up to the minute I hit live. We were over here trying to brainstorm how to co-stream, how all these things. And when I tell you, Ali was such a stable, calming voice, because I get frazzled. I was like, girl, throw your hands up. We never mind. We just throw it all out. Ali was like, no, we can do this even with the technical difficulties. So Ali, thank you for being so gracious, such a gracious
no, thank you.
And for being so patient. And I can't wait to work on this future project with you all. All right, folks, that's it for now. If you have not liked, subscribed, and shared, I don't know what y'all doing with y'all lives, hit them buttons. Like the channel, share it with somebody. Go over and subscribe to Ali's channel. Do it right now. Go. And we will see you in another video sometime soon. All right. Peace and love. Later, ladies.